because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
it's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
Guaranteed to be wrong. Just
absolutely 100%.
Cittadella are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Carrarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma! Welcome to the 11th episode of Speaking Serie B, live from Italy, my childhood room, and together here with me to talk about what happened on the most recent round of Serie B, round 9, and to share with me, with me and with you guys, the predictions on the next two rounds, round 10 and 11, is Jake Iovine of Città Calcio USA. Jake, thank you very much for being here with me.
Thank you, Ilya. Thank you. It's another great Wednesday being here. Speaking Serie B, I think this is the first episode where Cittadella has had a new coach or a coach other than Eduardo Guarini in charge. So it's really good,
Indeed.
and I'm happy for you guys. You guys are still undefeated, the only team in Serie B to be undefeated. So congrats to you guys.
Thank you very much. Yeah, congrats to the team, to the coach, and absolutely, we are ecstatic. We're really happy, really happy about this year's performance as far as Spezia is concerned. But we're not here to talk only about Cittadella and Spezia. We'll touch upon every and each one of the teams in the league. So we're going to be starting by chatting about the results. And yes, normally we're always live on every Wednesday at 7 p.m. But since we have midweek's game, we were talking about it with Jake right before this live. We're going to be live next on Friday 1st. So for the very first time, we will be speaking Serie B on a Friday night due to these midweek games. Subject to change, right?
Yes, it could change in the future depending on both of our schedules. But for now, it's probably going to be sometime on Friday night European time. So in the United States, around the same time, 1 p.m. Eastern or something like that. But keep an eye out on both of our social channels to keep updated on that.
Indeed. All right, let's start sharing the screen. I'm always using Google. I should start using the Serie B official, but the results are these, and then we can I can change it.
Google is just easier just to show right here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'm glad we agree on
Google.
All right, so Bari Catanzaro 1-1 was the first game of the 9th round on Friday, and Bari is going to be the next opponent of Spezia in the next game in La Spezia. The first game with the Curva Ferrovia closed, so it's going to be a particular setting because even the section for the Bari supporters, the Bari's fans, which normally are a very big following when the team plays away, is going to be very restricted, like 150 spots available only. But so they drew with Catanzaro. Catanzaro is improving his form, if I'm not mistaken. I did not watch the game, so please share with us any thoughts you might have about this game. Should you have seen it, or
Yeah, I tried to catch a little bit. I tried to catch a little last 15 minutes of the game, so I didn't watch too much. But Catanzaro getting another point on the road. It's still not winning, but they did. That's now twice, I believe, in their last two games where they've been down and been able to get a point. If you remember, before the international break, they were down against Modena at home. But that's very interesting what you said about Bari in the away sector. But we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, when it's time to preview the next upcoming games. That was very interesting. But Catanzaro still. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Please tell us about Catanzaro. Sorry,
Well, Catanzaro still only 1 win in 9 games. I don't know how hot the seat is for Caserta, but that's kind of what it is. I will say that one of my former guests on my podcast, David Farini, who's doing stuff with his new platform, Destination Calcio, he was actually at the game I saw. So he was there watching watching the Bari game against Catanzaro. He showed us the San Nicola, the piazza in Bari. It just looked very, very gorgeous. I believe he is going to be catching Cittadella's next game in Carrara against Carrarese, but so stay tuned for that. But yeah, shout out to David. I'll probably have him on my show pretty soon.
Nice. Cool, 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 cool. All right. So the next game, sorry, I was moving around the results. The next game was Cittadella Cosenza, 0-0. It might seem like an eventful game, but it wasn't, right? I mean,
Mm.
Cosenza with 10 players from the very first half, right? At what moment did they lose
Yes,
the play? Yeah, 37 minutes. So tell us about this game. Were you able to watch it? Because I knew that, if I remember well, you were traveling. So I don't know if you were able to
yes.
watch it.
Yes, I was not able to watch this game, unfortunately. I was able to follow it on FootMob, so it can't really tell much about that. There was a lot. Yes, like you said, it was a 0-0 game, but it was definitely a pretty eventful game. You got the red card, Cittadella making a lot of chances and even scoring. They thought they had won a game at the Tombolato after 11 games without a home win. First time since January when Pavan scored in the 94th minute, but VAR had other ideas, called it back for offside, and um, yeah, that's the streak still goes on for a home win. However, I did not watch the game, but I was talking on Monday with Enrico Leo, who is a journalist for Gazzetta and Padova Oggi, who covers Cittadella. He gave me a nice brief rundown and talked more in depth about the game. So if you want to go check that out, you can at Città USA show um, on Spotify, Apple, whatnot. So if you want more in depth for that, go check that out. But yeah, he Enrico said to me that Cittadella under new coach Del Canto, this was his first game in charge, a really big game. We were talking about this game going in
Hmm.
because both teams really at the bottom of the table, really struggling.
Right.
Um, Del Canto in charge, Alvini is maybe on the hot seat at Cosenza, but really needed a win. And I Enrico said to me that Cittadella they did create more chances, so in that sense,
Okay.
you could say they play better, but the issue still remains. It's the
Let's
attack
take a look at the
still.
stats. Yeah.
Yeah, 21 shots. That's pretty
Wow.
remarkable.
Yeah.
5 on target. But once again, the stats can't tell the story because in the first half,
Indeed.
Alessio Vita, one of the most important midfielders on the team, missed a one-on-one chance, which really should have been a goal. He pulled it wide, so it doesn't count as a
I
shot on
see.
target. But that was really, if you look at that expected goals, it's probably high up there. Um, it's a draw that I
9
don't
corners
think.
to 5, 4
Yeah,
offsides. Yeah.
I'd say it's a draw. It's a 0-0 that really doesn't help either team. Cittadella
Indeed.
really
Exactly.
needing
Yeah.
the win, Cosenza needing a win. Even I think Cosenza might be the more happier of the two sides, just given that they've defended for over an hour.
Yeah. With one less
Um,
player and playing abroad, so that counts for something, but it doesn't do them any good as
Yeah,
far as
and
the
and
standing.
considering the, VAR canceled the goal at the last minute, they'll probably be more happy,
Right.
but at the end of the day, these 2 teams really needed a win, so and I don't think it really favored, any side in this game, but for Cittadella, they've got another big game against Carrarese, another scontri diretti in the Salvezza battle, so,
Yeah, we'll talk more about it because today's event, as we said, today's episode is going to be around the predictions on not only one round, but the next 2 rounds, since there is
that's
a
right.
middle round, a middle week game. And I do apologize if I look distracted as I am preparing the updates of our little game and all the info for for us to make the predictions. I'm updating the results of last week so that we can check them out together in a bit. So moving on to the next game. Sorry, where did I go here? More matches. Where was I? Da-da-da-da-da. Is this the? Yeah. Okay, got it. Round 9. I apologize for this. Südtirol Pisa 1-2, but Südtirol was leading in their stadium in Bolzano 1-0, and it seemed like Pisa could finally make another mistake because they made only one so far, if I'm not mistaken. They lost only one game, but
Mm.
at the end they were able to come back and actually win the game with catching up on Südtirol. This is all I know. I didn't watch the game because Spezia was playing simultaneously, but I was keeping an eye through the live. People that were participating to our live were updating us about the results. So that's how I knew that Pisa came back. Do you have anything to share about this game, Jake?
No, not really. But just given that Pisa were down early in this game, and just being able to fight back in a difficult place to play. I feel like we say that a lot with a lot of different teams, difficult place to play. But Südtirol's definitely one of the tougher, difficult teams to break down in Serie B. So really, really statement win, I think, for Pisa, which continues their hot streak and um, continues to be top of the table.
Yeah, very convincing performance yet again. I didn't give much. I didn't give much credit, much hope to Südtirol for this season, but they are proving me wrong big time. So, honor, kudo to them. The next
Yeah,
game we're gonna be touching a point now. If I go back here again, I should go back from the top. Then I apologize. I don't want to waste so much time looking for the games. Sorry.
Google.
So round here, right here. Yeah, no, I gotta get better at this. The next game is Salernitana Spezia. So we'll see. Checking the predictions that we made in the previous episode, I did hope for Spezia to remain undefeated, and I watched the game with my grandpa next to me. He brought us extra luck, but I did not foresee Spezia winning abroad for the first time this season with Salernitana, especially after Salernitana had such a good performance, winning away with Palermo in round 8. So I was impressed by how cynic Spezia continues to be, and amazing goal by Soleri with a overheader. I think that's how you say it, right? Overheader when La
Yeah, like
Rovesciata.
like a bicycle. Are you saying? I wasn't
Indeed,
able to watch
indeed.
the
Yeah,
highlights,
I thought
so
the bicycle is the one that you do on the side, but it was over his head, so that's why.
oh wow,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that
Beautiful,
must have been
beautiful
crazy.
goal. Yeah. Also because he did it with Salernitana, and in Salernitana, Daniele Verde plays currently. So we were used to see Daniele Verde showing off this kind of strikes, this kind of kicks, performances. So it was awesome. Take that, Daniele Verde. You're no longer with us. Being a fan, that's the kind of thing that we like to see. And that was the first goal. Then coming in from the bench, Nicolò Bertola is one of the most prolific defensive players in Europe. I was reading an article earlier today, and he came in and he was able to score the second goal, which put an end to the game basically. And in Salernitana there was also Maggiore, who played for the first minute, which is another, not only an ex, but he used to be our captain, and he's from La Spezia. So there is always something more enjoyable there when you pull off such a good performance with ex-players. Yeah, the 73rd minute is the goal scored by Nicolò Bertola. But yeah, you see when I said scenic performance, look at the stats. Salernitana did not play badly at all. 62% possession, 38% for Spezia. Shots 18-14. Shots on target 5-4. But we're just solid this season. So we're really excited and unbelievable. Like better than anybody would have expected, I think, this season. So I don't know if you have anything to say about this game. Please share your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I have a question for you. So it seems like,
Sure.
we've been talking a lot this season about Spezia, maybe the tide turning a little bit in terms of, fortune because last season it seemed like, especially in the first part before D'Angelo came, it seemed. Remember
Mhm.
you telling me like you guys had so many opportunities to score, but it never seemed like it found the net. This season, it
Right,
looks like you guys are just so clinical, especially on set pieces. I want to say that Spezia has only scored one goal from open play this season
right.
and
We're
are
not wasting
second
anything.
place. Yeah, yeah. So 14 goals have been from, dead ball situations, set pieces, penalties, whatnot. So it really seems like they've just been very clinical. So I want to ask you, if this was last season, do you think Spezia lose this game? Because, like you said, Salernitana didn't play horribly, but do you think it's different this season?
I think the main difference is the mindset. First of all, the fact that we were making a lot of shots and missing a lot of opportunities is exactly what happens to Cosenza this season. And Cosenza is being coached by Alvini. So there might be something there as well. Alvini might have the right ideas, might be a good coach, but probably is not the best mental coach. So with Spezia, since D'Angelo arrived, all the players that remain, because he also cleared up the squads, by sending out the rotten apples, basically, are much more on the job. They're more convinced. And especially this season, they're more aware of their skills, aware of their potentials as a team as well, on the base of the tough experience that they collected as a group last season. So when you're creating a lot of opportunities and you're missing shots that are potentially easy for the fans, for somebody who's not on the field, probably there is something there that's more mental than it is technical. Like Antonucci, he wasn't a bad player. He wasn't able to perform at the best of his abilities. Daniele Verde started badly and then under D'Angelo exploded again. So I think Mr. D'Angelo is really is a good coach, and we can see the players now also finding themselves on the pitch without even looking at each other. So this season we're seeing better performances as a squad on many aspects, but it all started with the mindset. And the reason why we're performing without, we're not scoring during an action, as you mentioned, 14 of the 15 goals from Palla Inattiva, but it is because we're getting close and they kick us down. Like we probably had only one penalty. The others are coming from corner kicks. And again, if you think about the way we won with Cesena, if I'm not mistaken, we could have just protected the ball by the flag by kicking that corner. Instead, we went for it. We tried it. We put it in the middle and we wanted to win it. And that's a mindset. That's a good attitude. It's a team that's healthy and it wants to do well, while last season we were afraid of not doing well. So it's a completely different Spezia because of their attitude, I think. They're much more convinced, certain about themselves. I want to say hi to Zane PK. I don't know, says yo. Thank you for following us. Thank you for being here. 21 shots. Okay, please let's try to keep the live without swear words and all. We try to create a content that's very sportivo e rispettoso, respectful and friendly. So I don't know if you want to help me with that, Jake.
Yeah, just keep it clean in the chat.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And then Joele asks, cosa ne pensi delle proposte per il nuovo logo? So what do you think about the new logo? It's early to talk about the logo for Spezia, and we've been over talking about Spezia right now since we have a very good live ahead of us with a lot of things to talk about. The current logo has been very... we talked about the logo actually in the previous episode as well, if you want to go back and take a look at that episode. But it has been criticized a lot. So the very least that the Spezia Calcio team could do was ask the fans what they would have liked better. Now, the creation of the current logos that are being proposed are the result of inputs that have been offered by the fans. And now that we have these four options, a lot of people are bumped down because we started to appreciate what we have. So my opinion is, if I have to pick between the four that have been presented, I like the one that we currently have. But then we'll see what the majority decides. And enough of Spezia. Let's move on with analyzing, with chatting about. Again, if I go back, I lose it all. So I don't know how I'm gonna be fixing this tonight. Bear with me, guys. It's gonna be a little bit longer. The next game of round 9 after Spezia, Salernitana Spezia was Modena Palermo. So I'm not going to click on them. I'm just going to keep them
Yeah,
here so that we're not losing
I was about
this
to
much
say
time.
maybe you shouldn't click on them
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it'll
exactly.
take it out.
Thank you. So Modena Spezia 2-2 with Modena coming back on Palermo that was leading the game. Please go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, Modena was down 2-0 at halftime and then were able to come back. I've been keeping track of, how many points these teams come back from losing positions or how many downs. Modena have been down a lot and they've been able well, obviously they've had a lot more points. I'm going to bring it up actually. Yeah, because the more times you're down, obviously, the more chances you are of picking up points from a losing position. But 8 times they've been down from a losing position. This time, the most out of any team in Serie B, and they've gotten 7 points from it. So this is another really, I think it's a very good point for Bisoli's side. They are sliding
Yeah,
a little bit close to the relegation zone, but I think this is a draw that they'll take, and yeah, I think Palermo. Enrico said to me on Friday, Palermo, Sampdoria. There's still two teams that are trying to find an identity still. That still hasn't really
indeed.
clicked like you were expecting them to. So that's kind of all I have to say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like Modena coming back on their home team with on their own ground with Palermo is definitely a good performance from them. With Palermo came from a loss with Salernitana, but on the paper I would have said it's a better team. So good on them. The next game it was actually I think the big match of round 9, Brescia Sassuolo. The first half seemed like an open game, but then in the second half, Sassuolo just destroyed Brescia, and the end result was 2-5. Unbelievable. That must have been a good game to watch, almost like Cesena Sampdoria. We'll talk about that in a second. Please tell us what are your thoughts about Brescia Sassuolo, Jake?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that it was only 1-1 at halftime. But similar to the Sassuolo game against Cittadella before the break, it was a 6-1 defeat. If you remember that, it was also 1-1 at halftime, and then Sassuolo just run rampant in the second half. But that's now
So what is
11
that you
goals.
think? Better physical condition? What is it?
I have no idea. I mean, in the Cittadella
Yeah.
case, I think the heads just dropped. They just gave up playing. I don't know if it was the case of Brescia, but it just maybe it's finally just showing how good of a squad. We keep forgetting that Sassuolo has the most valuable squad in terms of market value in the league.
Right. Very
So
valid point. Yeah.
it's I wouldn't say it's like not surprising because you could still have a really valuable squad and still not perform, kind of like Sampdoria last year and maybe even this year. But
Yeah,
you
even
know,
this year. Exactly. I wanted to say.
yeah, like this season, you got a lot of players that should be or could be playing in Serie A, like Thorsvet, Loriente, Mulatieri, even guys like Boloca and um, you know Tojan. So there's still a lot of this is a almost kind of like a Serie A side in Sassuolo, and you got Domenico Berardi coming
Berardi.
back.
I don't know if you mentioned Berardi, who just came back
He
from a big injury.
he got 2 assists off the bench, so that's now 3 assists in his first 2 games. So it's looking very scary, but not for Sassuolo, of course. But yeah, a very very convincing win for Sassuolo. I'm really impressed.
Really impressed indeed. 5 goals. The next game we're going to be talking about is Juve Stabia Cremonese. Juve Stabia was at the top of the table, lost with Cremonese. That is, I don't want to say that is one of those teams that is searching for an entity, just as you for an identity, as you mentioned for Palermo and Sampdoria. But he has some ups and downs, and now I think he's fourth in on the table. So for a team that as a goal to win the championship, they had some results that were unexpected. But winning in a difficult stadium, in a difficult away game with Juve Stabia, which is one of the most impressive team that got promoted, was quite a good result. Cremonese is still there, so it's probably back with the new coach after Stroppa got sacked. And I just wanted to point out, because I learned this recently, Juve Stabia has, like Carrarese, have a synthetic field, so it's also
That's right.
different to play in that kind of surface. So please go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, I did predict a Cremonese win if I recall. So this was a
We'll check in
you
a
know
second. I honestly don't remember. We'll get to it. Yeah.
pretty good win for Cremonese, just given the aspects going into this match, traveling down south to play on um, a turf field, so it's a little bit different. Comeback stadium. Juve Stabia has been playing really well recently, but under Carini there was a lot of questions going into this, but that's a really important win for them, up to fourth in the table.
Yeah. So they're back up there with only. This is the beauty of Serie B. Like I think they were like at the bottom of the positions for the playoff spots, and now they're right at the top again. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
Reggiana 2, Frosinone 0. This is not the best result for Vivarini. I think like Frosinone. I did predict some difficulties for Frosinone after relegation, but I did not imagine they would struggle so much with Vivarini on the bench. So good on
and
Reggiana, that
this costed
convincing
Viverini's
result.
job. This costed Viverini's job. He's
He's actually got
he's
sacked,
sacked.
so I missed that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, he got
Wow.
sacked yesterday. At the time, it was Tuesday. Yes, he did get sacked. So, Frosinone sitting bottom of Serie B, just one win, three draws, five losses, 16 goals conceded. Very, um, just very. I it's very interesting to see, because we were talking about Frosinone really being a strong contender this season. Seeing what Viverini did at Catanzaro, it
Yeah,
just did not work out for them. So I think it's probably the right thing for Frosinone right now. The only win that came was against Cittadella, of course, against
I see.
Guarini, which both of those managers are now gone out of the team. So I believe now that it is three managers sacked this season after Stropa, Guarini,
From
and Viverini now.
right. So who replaced Vivarini?
I believe it was the assistant coach. I didn't read the full comunicato, but they're probably looking for a coach right now. But
Okay. So it is at interim in between
and
somebody else arrives.
very interesting that their next match is against Pisa, so there could be a new manager bounce, kind of like what Cittadella almost had with Del Canto. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Indeed. All right. We got two more matches about round 9, and then we'll start with we'll check out our predictions on the previous game, and we'll make predictions on the 10th and 11th. Carrarese Mantova 1-1. Two newly promoted team on the league, with Mantova that until this point had a very convincing start to the season, and Carrarese struggled some, but was able not to finish this game undefeated, improving their conditions so far. I think there are a few convincing results in a row for Carrarese. Did they actually play in Stadio dei Marmi? Do you
Yes,
know?
that was their first game. That was their first game at
Okay, so
the
tell us
Stadio dei
about it.
Marmi. So it was technically their quote first home game, even though they had been playing technically at home since this season. But yes, they did play at home. Like you said, another team, another stadium with turf. Cittadella do play there next week, so it'll be definitely a factor that you have to take into account.
Indeed. Yeah, this is the third consecutive positive result for Carrarese. Draw, win, and draw. So they're getting in some sort of form, with Mantova that in the last 5 games, they lost 2, draw 2, and won 1. So it was a loss, a win, a loss, and 2 draws. So, all right. The next game of round 9 was Cesena Sampdoria, with a result of 3-5. This must have been a very
Oh,
good game to watch. I did not
Super
watch
Sunday.
it. I don't remember what I predicted, but Sampdoria scoring 5 goals. So let's see. I can click on it because then we're gonna go to our prediction. So I can mess this up again. I want to see who scored.
It was back and forth. Cesena took the lead, then Sampdoria came back, and then Cesena made it close again, and then Sampdoria initially ran away. But yeah, 5-3. A lot of goals in this round.
With red card at the 90th minute. Yeah, non si sono fatti mancare nulla. Like this was a game that had it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really, really,
Awesome.
really. I kind of wished I watched this game because it was like a
Yeah, if I
Sunday.
knew.
Yeah, yeah, it was Super Sunday, really.
All right. So there is one more comment from the chat. We would like to. Gioia, pensi che sia il più bello? Guys, I apologize. First of all, we're trying to keep this an international live. So if you could comment in English so that everybody can understand.
No, we could translate
And
too.
I can. Okay, I kind of already answered this question. So, Joelle, thank you very much for interacting during our live and be actively, creator of this content. She asked, pensi che sia più bello lo stemma attuale o quello che hanno presentato? Do you think that is better? Do you like more the current logo for Spezia or those that they presented? They actually presented 4, so it's not only one. As I said earlier, out of the 4 that they presented, I appreciate more, not necessarily like, but for what it conveys, the whole thought process that into it, with all the signs, they have a specific meaning, the shapes that they have for the boat, for what they are trying to convey. I appreciate more the current logo than any of the others that they created for us to pick from. So that's all I have to say about the logo. Let's move on by taking a look at the predictions that we made on the round that just ended. So round 9, these were our predictions right here. Would you like to read them, Jake? And since I updated them while we were already live, we should also double check that I didn't make any mistakes.
Oh, I hope you didn't because that was a 4-1 lead I had.
I
Let's
saw.
see.
All right, so there you go. Please.
All right, Bari Catanzaro ended in a draw. I got 1 point here. Cittadella Cosenza both predicted a Cittadella win. It ended in a draw. So um, that's a mistake there because we
You
got
see, 0-0, both of us.
dang it.
All right.
If
It's
only
probably the only point I scored, so I didn't score any point at all this week. Go ahead.
let's see. Let's see, unless you made a mistake. Sutiro Pisa, I predicted a Pisa win and they won. So that is 1 point for me. Salernitana Spezia ended in we did not believe in Spezia again, but they continued to
Right.
win. So no points for either. Modena against Palermo, it ended in a draw. So Elia, you do get 1 point here.
You see, I just put it in the wrong place.
There you go. Maybe just got mixed up, but yes, Elia, you get 1 point because Modena did draw. Brescia Sassuolo ended in a Sassuolo big victory. We do not get any points for this, as we predicted Brescia to win.
Right.
Juve Stabia Cremonese. Cremonese getting a win. I did predict the Cremonese win, so I do get 1 point there. Reggiana Frosinone. Reggiana coming away with the victory. We did not pick that both of that, so 0 points for both of us. Carrarese Mantova ended in a draw, and I predicted a Carrarese victory. You predicted a Mantova win, so 0 points once again. And then Cesena Sampdoria ended in a Samp victory. I said Cesena, you said draw, so 0 points. So the final score
Yeah.
there should be 3-1 to me, even though let's just make sure one more time that it. Can you scroll up just one more, just to make sure we got all the things right? So yes, Elia 1, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I
Yes,
created a
3-1.
formula. So gets calculated automatically, and it automatically updates this as well. Just this is not uh, like this now. So let's delete the row. 34 points to 30. And yeah, this is it. This is the end of round 4. You're taking the lead, and now you're leading by 4 points, man. And 3-1. Yeah, I think was the week that we got the least amount of points.
Yeah,
The
this was
two of
not.
us, 3-1. Yeah, it was 6-3, 5-3, 3-4. We always done better than this. Was the worst week for us. 4-2. Yeah, unbelievable,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
usually we get at least a few right, but yeah, this week was not good. If it wasn't for that Moldena comeback, you would have gotten 0 correct.
Yeah, you see. I believe I told you I like the coach. I still don't remember his name, but I like his name, the coach.
Sisoli.
No, I don't actually like the way he coaches, like the way he makes the team play. But I once listened to him, or a couple of times when he was leading Sud Tirol, and I just like him in the press conference, his attitude. So it's okay. I like this guy. So maybe because he's bold. I don't know. Anyhow, let's move on with our predictions on round 10. I'm going to be starting, if you don't mind, since the first game is by Spezia. Spezia Brescia in Alberto Pico. And no, it's not Brescia. It's without Bari. That's why it was B. Okay, BA. Okay. Spezia Bari, Friday night. And I'll be there. In the Distinti. Spezia Bari, I want to say 1. So let's get ready with the. Here you go. 1.
Perfect.
All right. What do you think?
Yeah, we kind of briefly touched upon it before. Sorry, I was just before I was kind of reading the comment at the same time as my thought, but we'll read it in just one sec. Bari
Sure. Give it
Bari
up here.
coming off a draw against Catanzaro. I think they're on a little bit of a streak now that they've had a few consecutive results without without a loss. And Spezia once again being very good at home. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Elia. It's they've had 4 straight wins at home, so they are
Yep.
perfect at home. I want to say it continues, but I just feel like I don't know why. I feel like an X in this game. So
All
give me
right.
X. I don't know, draw. So let's see.
All right. Yeah, I don't want to be the one predicting the end of this dream season for us. So I'm gonna predict this way until it lasts, until it goes, and then we'll see afterward. But I don't see. I'm very confident. I don't know. Even in Salerno, we pulled such a good performance. So I'm really hopeful. We'll see. In the meantime, I want to say hi to Leonardo Pisani. Ciao, Leo, who lives in Texas and is from Spezia, but lives in Texas, who writes us, hi guys, Serie B is an incredible league. Indeed, it is an incredible and unpredictable league because, I mean, even our predictions, you see the results, are extremely difficult. And he says, every week, anybody can win or lose. What are your predictions until January for Spezia and Cittadella? Thank you. So I'm going to predict that Spezia is going to end up at the end of January is going to be in the playoff spot. I'm going to leave it at that. Like, I mean, it's pretty safe to predict. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, why not? They've been playing. It's nearly November, and they're still undefeated in this league. I don't know if they will be undefeated by that time, but they're certainly showing like a really strong contender this season, much improved from the relegation scare last season. But yeah, for Cittadella, I mean, I really don't know. It's new coach. There's still I think it's still going to take some time for the players to fully adapt to his new style of system. Um, there's still there's still a lot of important games after the Cardesse game coming up this week. There's a really tough stretch of games where I believe we're playing all teams above in the top 10 or at least in playoffs. I'll read you the schedule. It's at home against Sampdoria, away Palermo, home Cesena, away Bari, home Juve Stabia, away Spezia, and home against Cremonese. So a lot of difficult teams like Spezia, Cremonese, Juve Stabia, Palermo, and Sampdoria. Even though some of those teams are not as good as we predicted at the start of the season, they're still going to be very difficult teams. So this is going to be a very difficult stretch, and it's really going to, I think, determine whether or not Cittadella are going to be, comfortable in surviving relegation, or is it going to be one of those seasons like we saw 2 seasons ago where it went to the final day and they survived on the final day. So it's going to be very interesting, and we'll be here all for it.
Exactly, talking about it and keep you guys posted. So thank you very much, Leo, for actively participating to our live and continuing on with our prediction. The next game is going to be Cesena Brescia. Jake, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I think this is not talked about enough, but Cesena currently have the worst defense in
Huh.
Serie B with terms of goals conceded. They currently down to 13th place. I think we were talking like a lot about how they're going to be a real contender for playoffs, but they are in 13th place with 17 goals conceded, 16 scored. However, so they do have a really strong attack, but need to clean it up on defense. So they are leaky in terms of conceded goals. Therefore, but I can't, I don't really see them losing 3 games in a row. So, uh, well, I think they will. So I will say 2 in this case. I think Brescia coming off
All right.
a difficult defeat against Sassuolo, I think that'll kind of wake them up. Both of these teams really coming off conceding 5 goals in their last games against Sampdoria and Sassuolo.
I must agree with you with everything you said. I don't see Cesena losing the third game in a row, but Brescia, after losing so badly with Sassuolo, has to prove also that they can stay up there. So I agree with your thought process, but just to agree, just to disagree on our game, and because I don't want Brescia to lose right before they're going to be facing in Brescia Spezia,
Mhm.
I'm going to be say X.
X. All right. So an X and a 2.
So and a 2. Thank you for reminding me. Perfect. So the next game is Cosenza Juve Stabia. We got two teams. Cosenza was at the bottom of the table with 6 points, the same point of Frosinone, who was actually at the very bottom with 4 points less. And Juve Stabia that just lost, but it's fifth. It's up there. Because I just, the Wolves. I support. I like the Wolves, and there is always something. Like every week, they got some drama going on.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel for them, but I don't think they're gonna be. I mean, Juve Stabia is a solid team. So yet again, X.
X. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Cosenza's been in the league since 2018, I believe. There's just always something about I lupi no more mai. Um, the wolves never die. It seems like a lot of times when we like expect, oh, this is when the moment where Cosenza are really they're gonna start to tank. They have a few tough games, and then they always seem to pull it out of the fire. Especially
Mhm.
at the Gigi Marula at home. Even
Right.
no matter who they're playing. So for that, I'm gonna say Cosenza win. I don't know why. I just have that gut feeling. So a 1 here.
That's good. I mean, I wish them that. Absolutely. Just Juve
Well,
Stabia has been
maybe
convincing,
not
and
so
they've been
much
struggling
because
some. That's why.
a win for them might see Cittadella go bottom of Serie B, but we'll see. Also, shout out. I want to shout out to Antonio Palopoli, who
Indeed.
had me on the live last week for Lotta con i Lupi. So, uh, yeah, shout out to him. Great guy. He was at the game actually, so he was able to. If you want to go check that out, me speaking broken Italian, you could go check that out on my channel.
You did great. You did great. I followed you, shared it with me. Yeah, you did great. Nice, nice. I enjoyed it. Leonardo writes again. Yes, after a great start, Cesena has a down period. Cesena will lose again. So he agrees that yeah, Cesena is going to be losing with Brescia on their home field. I just yeah, we'll see, guys, we'll see. We should find a way, Jake, to have tab for all the predictions of the people that are following as well, but it would be extremely confusing. So let's see what we can come up with by next season, maybe. Anyhow,
Yeah.
moving on. The next game to predict is Cremonese Salernitana. You're up.
I'm gonna predict a Cremonese win. Another win or first home game against for Carini in charge. After that win, I don't know how the mood is in the Cremonese camp. Like when Stropa was sacked, I was like a little confused because they weren't like really in a bad situation. I believe they were seventh when Stropa got the boot, so it wasn't like they were really struggling in the relegation. So I still think Cremonese is a much better team than Salernitana. Salernitana, not in the greatest moment right now, so I'll predict a Cremonese win.
All right. I don't want to predict the third draw in a row. Salernitana won away with Palermo and then lost at home with Spezia. So ups and downs, unpredictable results. Again, I didn't foresee Spezia winning in Salerno. I would have been happy with a draw. Cremonese Salernitana. Cremonese Salernitana. Cremonese comes from only two
Juve
positive
Stabia.
results, a draw and a win. Say it again.
Juve Stabia, they won at Juve Stabia.
Yeah. Leo, help me out. What is your prediction? I asked for the help from home, with the call in the games. Cremonese Salernitana. X, I don't care. X, the third consecutive X, the middle ground. When you don't know how to make a decision, just stay in the middle.
That's all good. It's all
So
good.
go, Jay. All right, the next game is going to be Palermo Reggiana. Reggiana won 2-0, and Palermo, which seats at the where is Palermo now?
Seven. This is a 7 versus 8 place battle.
So they're very close, right? The same amount of points too. Very interesting, very interesting. But Palermo plays at home, and last season I remember when Spezia played in Palermo, they really made a difference. Like we were leading, and then they caught up with us. Leo, due fisso. And I. All right, so you think Salernitana is gonna win with Cremonese? Thank you, Leo. Thank you, appreciate it. Unfortunately, I already picked X. I don't want to change it. Anyhow, as far as Palermo is concerned, I'm going to predict one victory to Palermo because I really believe in the support of the home advantage. The home advantage is going to make the difference. I think Palermo has a better squad on paper than Reggiana. Reggiana, I think, is going to play more to avoid relegation, while Palermo could actually try to at least reach the playoff spots comfortably. So, one, Jake.
Yeah, I think Palermo is still kind of struggling at home. They've only played 3 games at home, but 2 draws, 1 loss. Um, you know, it's still like Enrico said to me in the podcast. They're still trying to find that identity, still,
Mhm.
and I think they will show that kind of towards towards the late part of the season. However, I think for this, I think they should win this game. I'm also going to agree with you with one. I see Palermo winning this.
All right. Sassuolo Modena, Jake.
This should be a derby a little bit because they are pretty close in terms of
Right.
geographical.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not too educated about the um, um, Emilia Romagna derbies, but
Right. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
they are pretty close in proximity. So this is kind of it. Sassuolo's been playing really well. I know said like a lot of this is going to be my fourth straight one, but I'm going to say Sassuolo again. I'm really liking how they're playing. I think they've really found some good form. Berardi's coming back
Awesome.
into form. I'm going to say one.
All right. Yeah, we're sort of facing like the most offensive team of the league with one of the teams that's been led by one of the most defensive coaches. Am I right?
That's a good observation. Yeah, Moldena very although Moldena has conceded 14 goals this season, so um, still, but yes, they in terms of Bisoli and his way of playing, it's more defensive minded.
But if we're looking at the squads, there is such a big gap between the
True.
skills and Sassuolo and Modena. This should be like an easy, predictable one, but then Serie B always surprises you. And maybe Modena, for the way they're going to be playing, they're just going to prevent Sassuolo to express themselves. I don't know. Just Berardi is back, so Berardi is one of those players that can really change. Può fare cambiare l'ago della bilancia, no? It can really make the balance of a match change. So I agree with you. It's gonna be. I'm predicting a one as well. So one for me also. I want to read the next message. Another two for me, says Leonardo. Leo, thank you very much. Earlier he said, sorry, in English, an away win from Salernitana, not two piso. But we got it, we got it. It's awesome. It's awesome. Thank you for participating so actively. So, according to Leonardo, is Modena who's going to win with Sassuolo. So we should go back and write down what he says, and next week we can check out his predictions. So moving on to the next game is Carrarese Cittadella. I started by predicting the result with Spezia and Bari. I don't know if you want to predict this before me, Jake.
Sure,
We can,
I'll do it. Yeah,
yeah.
so this is once again, like we've been saying, another big game. It almost feels like an early play out battle between the two sides. It could be very important come the end of the season. Carrarese, second game at home in Carrara. So another, it's on turf, so that could be a factor. I believe it's going to be raining in that game. I checked the weather for Carrara. It's been raining there recently, so that could also play a factor on turf in the rain. It's probably going to be a little bit of a ugly conditions for that. Yeah, Saturday, 80% chance of rain in Carrara. So it's going to be a little bit of a muggy, sluggy game, a little bit. N- so man, I know Carades has been playing better recently. Three straight positive results. Uh, I agreed with Enrico when he said he thinks that Cittadella plays better, especially in these days where they just can't seem to get a home win. They seem to be playing better away from home, and that probably helps the team just given that they're away from that pressure of getting that home win, especially when it hasn't been happened since January. So in this case with Dal Canto, I'm feeling good about this game for Cittadella. I don't know why. It just seems like one of those games. Like they said, they played better in the game against Cosenza. I think just with a little more fortune and a little more clinical actions in the final third, I think they could make a difference. Therefore, I'm going to say two.
All right. You know that as I was listening to you, I agree. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't particularly like, for historic reason, Carrarese. I said maybe they could pull this one off. You never know because away. When did you win on away game last? Not
It
very. I
was
mean, it
end of
happens
August.
frequently. You never win at home, but you win abroad. You're right, right?
End of August against Modena. That
Okay.
was actually the last
Yeah.
win in the season for Cittadella. But like I said, only 4 wins in the year of 2024 for Cittadella. So
Mhm.
wins don't come around very often. But if Cittadella wants to get back into this, restart their season, they Enrico Leo actually said it was a must. He felt like it was a must win just given the circumstances. So this is a very important game for Cittadella.
This is the time to do it, guys. This is the time to do it.
Now or never.
Yeah, or never. Unless it's one of those games where you say, guys, it's only the 10th game, the 10th round of the season. So let's get a draw here. We're not hurting any of us. We're both at 8 points. It's still a long way to go, but it's too early to make biscotti, as we said a few episodes ago. So no, I wish you guys well. I agree with you. 2 for me as well.
Wow. All right.
Next game. Sampdoria Mantova, if I'm not mistaken. Sampdoria Mantova. Indeed. So Sampdoria won 5-2 with Cesena in Cesena. They're facing again another newly promoted team. They're doing that in Genova. As much as I don't like them, for supportive fans reasons, I'm going to predict a Sampdoria win. So I'm going to say 1.
I can see that happening. However, I've been predicting a lot of home wins in this round. So for this, I'm going to say an X. I don't know why. It just seems like, it just, I can't really explain it. It just seems like for me, Mantova has enough to just pull a result out of the what's it call it? The Marassi, the Stadio Marassi. So, X.
Good, and then it's good for this to disagree between the two of us for the sake of our own game, because we predicted 3 consecutive same results. So we gotta disagree, otherwise our game is not fun.
That's true.
Yeah, the next game is Frosinone Pisa. Your turn, I guess.
All right, so I did mention that Frosinone did sack Viverini, so they have a new manager bounce, which means they could suddenly start to play really well in this game against Pisa. So I warn people in Zaghi that this could be a little bit of a trap game. This could be a game where if they're not aware of this, they could surprisingly lose. And so man, I'm gonna say a draw on this, because I do think after it just seems like a new manager, new ideas. It seems like Frosinone will play better, but Pisa's still proving their strength. I'm gonna say draw.
All right. Yeah, I don't disagree with your thought process, but I just don't see the first one winning to losing or drawing. Sorry. With the last. This is Serie B, anything can happen. But after coming back in Bolzano with Südtirol, I wish that Pisa would draw or lose with Frosinone, especially Spezia could pull off a win with Bari in La Spezia. It would look great for our standings. But yeah, I'm going to predict a 2 on this one. I haven't predicted many of them yet. I think this is only the third, I guess. It's only the second. So I feel good about the 2. Frosinone Pisa 2. Let's check the comment. Leo, 1 for me. Frosinone finally winning a game with Pisa. I hope so, Leo. I hope so. I really do hope so, but I don't foresee that. The last game of round 10. Before moving on to predicting round 11, since we have a mid-round week, is Catanzaro Südtirol. And I start. All right. Okay. The excitement drops. Catanzaro Südtirol. Südtirol is in 9th place, 12 points. 3 losses in the last 5 games. Win, loss, win, loss. And Catanzaro comes out of 3 consecutive draws, 4 in the last 5 games, and 1 loss. So Catanzaro doesn't win, but doesn't lose. And he plays at home with Südtirol that just lost in Bolzano with Pisa. So I feel good. I feel good for Catanzaro. I actually like them, so I'm going to say 1.
For some reason, this has a draw written all over it. I'm going to put X. I know Südtirol hasn't drawn a game this year. It's either been win or loss. However, I think this is a game where they do draw. And, Catanzaro, it seems like they're not winning games, but they're not losing games. So I predict another draw on this.
All right. Perfect. So if there is nothing else to add to round 10, let's quickly move to round 11. And the first game of round 11 is Modena Cremonese. It's always more difficult to predict 2 rounds in a single
Yeah,
episode because we don't know in what kind of shape, and we don't have a better an updated baseline to make our predictions from. But
exactly.
we didn't do too bad last time we predicted 2 rounds. I guess we got quite a few results. So let's have fun. Whose turn is it? Is it yours, right? Modena Cremonese. Go ahead, Jake.
Modena Cremonese. Yeah, I think it. I think for this, I'm gonna say a draw because I don't see Cremonese winning. That would be 3 straight games that they've won. Um, and Modena. I forgot what I predicted for Modena already. In the last round, they are playing. Oh yeah, they are playing Sassuolo, so it would be a
Yeah, we gave
difficult.
them a loss, both of us.
Yeah, I think a draw is fair in this.
All right. Modena Cremonese. Yeah, let's see what we predicted for Cremonese too. What did we say? Cremonese was facing. If we do this episode will never end. But Cremonese Salernitana, I said X, you said 1. So we predicted Cremonese to do a positive result on this on the previous game. Modena Cremonese. Modena Cremonese. I mean, I have to agree with you. I don't like to agree with you. Maybe you're conditioning me. I'm gonna say X as well. So we'll see. Anyhow, Brescia, Spezia. Okay, I'll be there, and I'll be there with my dad, and I'll be there with my father-in-law, and with my brother-in-law. Is that how you call the? It doesn't matter. The husband of my wife's sister. It doesn't matter. So we'll all be there. They're coming from Hungary. It's awesome. They want to see play Adam Nudge, who lately hasn't been playing in the starting 11 and not even the most recent game. I don't know in what kind of shape Brescia will arrive to this game. Hopefully, Spezia will still be unbeaten by then. So I will predict yet again a draw away for Spezia. So X. I can't predict
Okay,
Spezia losing yet
I'm
until it
sorry,
does.
Elia, but I know your whole family is gonna be here, but I think this is the game where Spezia lose. Um, it's just it's a midweek game. Anything could really. It's just weird things happen. Brescia, we've seen proving to be a really strong team, especially at home, even though they did lose big to Sassuolo. But uh, yeah, I don't know why. I see a Brescia win, so 1 in this case. It was
All
gonna
right. I
happen
don't blame
eventually
you.
after 11 games at this point. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, sooner or later, eventually it will have to happen, of course. We used to sing in Serie C2, lo Spezia non perde più, like Spezia is no longer losing. We did end the whole season winning and drawing without losing a game after the leadership of coach Mandorlini. So it has happened before, it can happen again, and we'll see.
Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but it is true. This is going to be an extremely difficult game away. But Brescia did lose with Sassuolo, and Spezia draw with Sassuolo, although it was a Sassuolo without Berardi. I'm not saying that he makes the whole team by himself, because he doesn't, but he is an important component of the squad. So next game, Reggiana Cosenza. I
My
think
turn.
you're up.
Reggiana Cosenza, I'm gonna say a draw for this. And this just seems like a draw game. So some of these games, like I really can't explain like what I feel. I just
No, I know. We predicted, both of us, Reggiana losing with Palermo in Palermo. So Reggiana Cosenza, I want the Wolves to do well and to recover some. I like Calvini. I feel for him. Reggiana is going to be playing at home. We've already agreed on the previous draw. Modena Cremonese, man. Okay, it will not happen, but I wish Cosenza to win, so too. Just to disagree for the sake of our own game. Bari Carrarese. So Bari would come from a loss in La Spezia, according to my earlier predictions, and is going to be facing Carrarese in Bari. For this reason, I'm going to predict 1, the how do you call it? I galletti, Jake. I galletti are the
The
male
roosters,
animal of the
I
chicken.
believe.
You don't call them chicken. Roosters.
Rooster, I believe, or
Okay.
yeah.
So the roosters are not going to lose with Carrara in Bari. Go ahead, Jake.
I agree with you. I don't see Bari losing this game, especially against. It would be a struggling Caradese team. They should take care of business at home.
All right. Next game. Salernitana Cesena. What do you think?
Interesting game here. I think Cesena will get back to form against Salernitana. I'll predict a 2 here. Um, yeah, I think that's right.
All right. We predicted, what did we predict about Salernitana? We said that Salernitana is
Mhm.
going to win in Cremosa. No, sorry, you said that he's going to lose with Cremonese in Cremona, and I said a draw. I didn't want to predict another draw for Salernitana, especially at home. So you say two, I'm going to say one.
Mm.
Very
Oh,
divergent perception of reality on this one. Divergent, is that a word?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, like Cesena is kind of leaking goals at the moment, so that could definitely happen.
All right. Juve Stabia Sassuolo. Juve Stabia Sassuolo in Castellammare di Stabia. Sassuolo that won 5-2, 5-3. I don't remember exactly in
Yes,
Brescia. Go ahead. Correct
yes,
me.
yes. They did lose five, or they did win 5-2.
5-2, right? And we predicted, both of us agree on Sassuolo winning with Modena. So in Juve Stabia, in Castellammare di Stabia, with Juve Stabia, they might draw. So draw X for me.
Mm.
Just because,
I was
Juve
thinking the
Stabia
same.
seemed convincing and they play at home. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Sassuolo has been winning a lot of games recently, but I think they will stop a little bit against Juve. Stabbi's been proving they did beat Pisa, the only loss of the season for Pisa in Castellana di
Right.
Stabia. So yeah, I'll say draw X.
All right. So we agree on this one as well. It says something. It says something. Sometimes it has happened many times that we agree on our prediction and then we both get it wrong. But this is Serie B, guys. Unpredictable Serie B. Sud Frosinone. You're up.
I've got a Frosinone win. I'm
All
going
right.
bold move here, but Uh, Südtirol has been inconsistent. I did predict a draw in their last game against Catanzaro, but Frosinone, I think this is a new belief in this team that they could go up and survive in this. So I'll say 2.
So win of Frosinone in Bolzano. We predicted earlier, you predicted Catanzaro su Tirol as an X, and I gave the win to Catanzaro. So I'm going to predict that Su Tirol is going to be drawing in Bolzano with Frosinone. How did I do here? What X? No, there are a couple of twos. Yeah, I'm balanced. A lot of X's for me, but yeah, okay.
Playing it safe.
Yeah, play it safe. I don't know why. I mean, there is always 33% chances, but anyhow, next season we may have some doubles. Okay, at least one double per week to pick.
That's true.
Anyhow, next game is going to be Pisa Catanzaro. Pisa Catanzaro. I think I predicted Catanzaro not to lose. What is? Yeah, exactly. We just talked about it. I actually picked Catanzaro to win at home. So in Pisa, I think Pisa is gonna, have a convincing win on Catanzaro, which is not the surprising team that it was last season. So one for me, Jake. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a pretty straightforward win for Pisa. It's going to be a tough ask for Catanzaro to go into the Arena Garibaldi and get a win against this Pisa super team. It seems. Um, so
Yeah,
I
right.
think even though
Unstoppable.
it is midweek, they're short on rest. I just think it's going to be very hard for Catanzaro to get away with the result.
I agree. Next game is Mantova Palermo. Jake.
I'm gonna say a Mantova win. I we've been saying the Mantova's been fairly strong at home, and I think this is definitely a game where Palermo they might be favored in this, but they could lose this 1-0 or 2-0. Just a really good team in Mantova. I think they will survive in this league, to be honest. So I think they will get the result one.
Yeah, I updated it. I see your thought process, and I was checking what we predicted for Mantova. We did. You predicted a draw. I predicted Mantova to lose in Genova with Sampdoria, and Palermo. We gave them both of us a strong win in Palermo with Reggiana, but they did lose in Palermo with Salernitana. So I'm playing it safe. Am I playing it safe? X.
Another X.
I don't want to disappoint you, but I think Palermo could actually win, but they might not be able to pull it off. So X.
Okay, that's fair.
You don't like it. You don't like it. You're so disappointed. It's not that I refuse to say how it's going to end. I foresee this as I end result.
That's fair. That's fair. It's just I think it's playing it safe because we don't know the results of the weekend games before this, so it's definitely hard.
Right. Cittadella Sampdoria is the last game of round 11. It's going to be a tough one, Jake. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So last game here. I know it's been a long life, but stick with us. We're almost done. But yes, Cittadella Sampdoria. This was really, I think, the game where it kind of started the collapse last year. If you remember, it was a special game. It was a pianone. It was a full stands. A lot of fans in this ground at the Tombolato. They were wearing a special blue shirt. Luca Pandolfi scored in the second half, but then Sampdoria kind of out of nowhere came back and won it. And since then, it never looked like Cittadella has recovered from that disappointing kind of shock loss to Sampdoria. So it's Cittadella just can't seem to win at home. This would be a really I know it's Sampdoria still not in full strength, even though they have Massimo Coda, which always seems to like he's scoring against Cittadella. I think Cittadella is one of the clubs where he scored the most goals against for some reason.
Wow.
It would be really incredible if Cittadella could win this game. So for that, I'm going to say a draw. I don't think Cittadella will lose. Yeah, there we go. Playing it safe. I don't think Cittadella will lose this game, but certainly it's going to be a tall task for them to win against Sampdoria, which it would be pretty poetic if they won, and just the team that started this kind of downfall is the team that ends this streak of bad results at home.
And thank you for reminding us all these, because I didn't remember it. I didn't know it. So for this reason, because I believe in great comeback. Where does the S go? Comebacks? Comeback doesn't. You don't put the S.
Yeah. The great comeback, or
okay,
plurals comebacks.
All right. So I believe in great comeback. I wish you guys well. 1.
All right. Get that first home win
I think this
against the team that started it all. Like that
started it all. Nice. Yes. Let's have the phoenix fly out of the ashes and have this game achieving the playoff spots by the end of the season. Maybe ahead of Sampdoria that ends in the 9th spot, and you guys at the 8th. How about that?
Oh, that's a dream.
Anyhow, we did predict 2 rounds during this long episode. We do thank you for the time you've dedicated live to our predictions, to our thoughts, to the share of our passion. Thank you guys for being here with us. We do invite you to subscribe to both of our channels here on YouTube and to follow us on TikTok, Speziato, Elia the Italian Guy on Instagram, or Elia the Italian Guy or Speziato. And do follow Jay Kiovin at Cheetah Calcio USA. Please, Jay, I'll let you close this live.
Okay, yeah, you could follow me, Cheat the Culture USA, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You could find all our stuff there, as well as our website, cheatthecultureusa.com, if you want to read more about the news, match previews, recaps, in-depth articles. Cheatthecultureusa.com is the place to go. We thank you for listening to this special Speaking Serie B because we did recap 2 games. We will see you next Friday, November 1st, although that is subject to change. So make sure to follow us on socials that we just said to be updated on any of that. And yes, thank you for listening to this episode, another episode of Speaking Serie B. And we'll see you next week, Speaking Serie B.